We're very fortunate to have two stars of the Korean American entrepreneurial community in two very sexy industries. So we have both film and the internet present today, and I think we're going to have an interesting time as they share their stories.
I'm a film producer. I guess you probably read the bio. I'm a film producer based in Los Angeles. Most of my films have been remakes of Asian titles like The Ring and The Grudge and Departed. Let me go back to my background. I was born in the U.S., in Brooklyn, New York, and raised in the D.C. area, and I went to law school in D.C. as well as college, and moved to Los Angeles in '96, where I got a job in a film company called Alphaville. And when I moved out to California, I actually didn't know what I was going to do specifically. I was either going to go into film or music or something entertainment related, and I ended up just getting a job in a film company and working there for a couple of years, learning how that film company made movies. And after a couple of years of seeing that, I realized I could do it myself. And so I then found a movie called The Ring, which then I set up as a remake. And after that, it was very successful. And so I followed that up with The Grudge, and that was equally as successful. And then it was easy for me to get more movies made. And so since then, I've been doing the same thing, just putting together movies and hopefully making more for many years.
I'm Brian Lee, and I'm the co-founder of LegalZoom.com. We're an online legal services provider. We started LegalZoom in, well, I guess late 2000, but launched to the public in March of 2001. And it's been a crazy 7 years since then. To give you my background, though, I was born in Korea, but I came here when I was less than 1 year old. So I came here. My mom carried me over as a little baby. So went to school here. Went to UCLA for law school, and then after law school, was working as a tax attorney at Skadden Arps, and then working as a tax consultant at Ernst & Young, and then doing Touche too. You know, a lot of people were coming to me saying, well, you're a lawyer, maybe you could help me with this, right? Like a lot of friends and family would come to you and say, you know, I got in a car accident, can you do this for me? And I'm like, well, I'm sorry, I'm a tax attorney. Don't know too much about personal injury or whatnot. And people would say, oh, can you make a will for me, or a living trust for me, or form a corporation? And then you start to realize, you know what, there's a lot of people out there that need legal help, but they don't have anywhere to turn. Right? They want, you know, a lawyer, but they don't want to pay, you know, $300 an hour either. And we saw what was going on with the internet, with travel, with online brokerage accounts, everything going on back then. And we're like, well, gosh, let's start something in law.
For me, it's any type of project I do because I find it interesting myself. Like whenever we develop a movie, I look at it as it's something that, would I like to see this movie? Would I be upset if I went to the theater and paid money for this movie and saw this? And so everything I develop is something that I want to see myself, or that I really find the story interesting. And so that is the process I go through whenever I read screenplays or read magazine articles, read books, and now watch foreign movies. It's like, would I want to remake it? And so it's mainly just going with my gut of things that I think that people want to see. And that's the skill set that I have that has been helpful for me for the past few years.
For me, I'm not, you probably heard this before, but I'm not sure if it was either confidence or just kind of stupidity at the time. Because it's you don't really think about it when you're doing it. And that was definitely the case for me. It's just, I kind of like you, Roy, I mean, I just have this gut that I just knew it would work. That if you made legal services affordable and simple for people to create their own legal documents and prepare and file things for them, that people would come and they would start to use it. So it was more of a gut thing for me too. And, you know, it's, okay, it was a gut thing.
Well, the most difficult times are movies that fail, and then you see the box office opening weekends. And I guess our movie, the movie that I did that failed was Dark Water. Even though I thought it was a good movie, but I thought it was marketed incorrectly and it wasn't a hard movie, it was more of a drama. And just seeing the numbers go down and hearing all the, because before that I'd just been always gotten calls from the studios whenever the movies came out and they were successful. Every Saturday and every Sunday, you get calls from the studio heads congratulating you. And so I've been used to that for all the movies, except for when Dark Water came out. It was dead silence the days after, and on Monday, people would just sort of ignore the topic. And the second part of the question was when I knew that I was doing things right is, I guess after The Ring and The Grudge, it was those two movies being very successful. I was starting to get a lot of incoming calls from actors who wanted to try to find movies for me to develop for them. And so that was, for a producer, that's the most difficult thing of getting a bigger star attached to a project in order to bring it to the studio. And so after that, those two movies, I put together The Departed. And originally it was with Brad Pitt to star. And so it was an incoming call from him, and he had actually come to the screenings to work together with me to find a project for him to star in. And even though he didn't end up starring in the movie, he ended up producing it because he brought in, it was him that led to Scorsese directing, and then Scorsese brought in Leo, and then it worked out that Leo was a little bit too old to play against Brad Pitt, and so that's why Matt Damon replaced Pitt. But it was just, that was the stages when I knew it was going to be a lot easier for my career.
Brad Pitt called. Scorsese.
Honestly, that is so cool. That's awesome. Leo. For me, it's not quite that exciting. It's the hardest part for me was actually quitting my job and starting the company with no money. It was, I was working at some law firms, and they pay you pretty well, at law firms, and just to say goodbye to that and say, you know what, I'm just going to try to make it on my own. That's definitely the scariest part for any entrepreneur, I bet. And then for when did I feel successful? I feel successful every day, truthfully. I'm just blessed, and I just feel so thankful that the company's still growing, and we have a great team that's helping it grow and have good strategy for the future. But I guess the one thing that you say, wow, we're kind of making it is when you see the commercials on TV. When you start seeing when I wear my LegalZoom cap and someone tells me, oh, I just formed my corporation, and do you work there? I'm like, yeah, I work there. It's kind of fun. So that's really what it is. It's knowing that the brand name's getting out, and then you feel very fulfilled.
In Hollywood, a lot of it's based on relationships, and so a lot of people can have great film ideas, but if they can't get into the Hollywood system or the studio system in order to get people to pay for them or to implement their ideas. And so I had spent the previous 5 years developing those relationships, so people would try to go to the studios, and a lot of times the studios would then hear the idea and then call me and say, would you want to produce this? So I've gotten some incoming calls from studios asking me to get involved with projects that they hear about just because I already had relationships with them.
For me, it's, I guess the answer is more, everyone has a great idea, right? I mean, people come to me all the time with their great idea, business plans, and asking me to invest and this and that. But the idea is really only like 5%. It's about execution and actually doing it, and just making sure that you have what it takes yourself, or you surround yourself with a team of people who can execute. And for us, it's we're executing all the time. We're always trying to keep ahead of the curve, always trying to provide the customer with the best possible service and experience that we can. So we have competitors showing up every day. Anytime you turn on the internet and do a search for legal services, I mean, you see another competitor, right? But I think the reason why we've been able to stay ahead is, number one, we were first to market, but number two, we're constantly innovating. Anytime you start saying, okay, we've done it, right? We're here, we're doing hundreds of millions of dollars or whatever it is, someone's gonna come back and rip your legs out from underneath you from somewhere that you just didn't see it coming. But you just constantly have to innovate and look forward and try to provide the best service possible.